All right, so what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, man. It's your boy, and today I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys on this brand new April Fool's uniform for Satana, transforming her from a demon to an angel. And I gotta say, visually speaking, this uniform looks amazing.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Super clean, okay? And I think they did a really good job with the animation as well. They also gave her some really cool passives, but I don't think they went far enough considering the fact that you need to spend $30 to get this uniform. $30 if you live in the States. If you live elsewhere, it's gonna be more. For me, I live in Canada, so it's gonna cost me about $45 to get this uniform.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
If you want to get it day one, or if you want to get it before the check-in event ends, that gives you the tokens, because right now you can get 10 tokens right here from the daily check-in. That's gonna make it so that you only need 20 additional tokens. You're gonna have to go in the shop and you're gonna have to buy something for cash. Usually what we do is we go in here and we buy offer for agents number 2. This, as you can see, for me is $40, but Uncle Sam needs his cut as well, so you're gonna need to put a $5 on top. So that's gonna be $45 if I want to get this uniform for her before the check-in event gives me the extra token. And usually when it comes to these seasonal uniforms, since I don't whale out like I used to, I'll go ahead and I'll drop $45 to support their game. However, I'm looking at this Satana uniform and it seems to me that they're shortchanging us.
I know math is hard when you're an idiot, but like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
They're giving us less and less with every seasonal uniform while expecting us to pay the same price. It doesn't make sense, and I'm going to talk about why that is in a second. So what I'm going to do this time around is actually, for the first time ever, wait until I get the 10 tokens for the check-in, which I generally don't do. But this time I'm actually going to just wait, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up this Angel Playful chest. Sure, I don't need the stuff that's inside the chest per se, but instead of spending $45, I'll spend closer to $30
because I'm all out of money,
and I'll still be able to get the uniform for Satana, since it's an exclusive uniform that's only going to be here for 2 weeks this year, and it's going to be gone until next year. And I have this thing where I just want to have all of the uniforms in the game, because at some point they may or may not be useful for something.
Keep telling yourself that, darling.
However, I don't think majority of players need this uniform. I think you're going to be buying it because it looks good, has some cool animations, and you just don't want to miss out on having it in case it actually becomes relevant. But let's be honest, guys, they're asking us to pay the same price for Satana's uniform as these 3 uniforms right here. Look at Morgan Le Fay's support buff. Okay, Morgan Le Fay is giving you 35% attack to universal types, 35% extra damage to boss types, and removes all debuffs for 10 seconds with an 18-second cooldown. Look at how much you're getting for the same price that you have to pay for Satana's uniform. Satana's uniform is literally only going to give you 35% extra damage to elemental characters.
You're kidding, right?
Very small subset of characters, and only 35% elemental damage. Now, some people will say, oh, 35% elemental damage is more like 45% extra damage to boss or whatever. Okay, if that's the case, bruh, look at what they gave to Sin. Another uniform that you had to spend money for, and this is when they started giving us less and less. As you can see, she's getting 55% extra damage to boss type, so more than they're giving to Satana.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
It doesn't make sense. And then look at what they gave to Storm. Remember, Storm was a character that when she came out, she was one of the most powerful characters in the game because she could go to tier 4. Okay, so you were buying this uniform because she is meta as a DPS, and when her DPS ultimately fell off, you were then able to fall back to her support passive, which, as you can see, significantly better than Satana. Instead of getting 35, she got 55% extra damage to elemental characters and 30% ignore dodge. You can see what I'm talking about. They're giving us less and less while asking us to pay the same price. It doesn't make sense, bro. If you take a look at Storm's free-to-play uniform, look at this thing right here, guys. Wait a second. So you mean to tell me a character that has a free-to-play uniform has the same exact elemental buff as a character that I have to pay $45 for? You kind of see how this shit don't make sense, bro? They're literally monetizing something that you can get for free. Yeah, sure, Satana is a universal character and you can use her to buff your Jean Grey for ABX and ABL on one day. That's literally the only reason why you're gonna be buying Satana's uniform, because Jean Grey is a fire character, because then you can use Satana's leadership of 70%. By the way, her leadership in her free uniform, this one right here, is the exact same as it is in the new Angel uniform. It makes absolutely no sense, guys. What they should have did with this girl is making so that a couple of her passives like this, her new tier 2 passive and shit, this is dope. 30% extra attack, 25% damage reduction. Instead of just applying to herself, this shit should have applied to allies, whether it's universal allies, elemental allies, whoever the hell, okay? Can't just apply it to herself because they're not giving you enough from her uniform bonus to justify the cost. Look at her tier 2 passive: extra chain hit damage, ignore dodge, skill damage, bonus damage. This should not just be applying to herself, this should be applying to allies, because you're not getting enough from the uniform effect to justify the cost. You're literally spending $30 to $45 depending on where you live for 35% extra elemental damage.
That is one big pile of shit.
Guys, Ancient One, okay? Ancient One, a free-to-play uniform. I don't know I don't know if these guys hit the blunt, hit the pipe, or popped a perk. I don't know what they did before they made that uniform, but it don't make sense to me, bro. Ancient One, free to play, 30% all resistance, 30% ignore dodge, 40% elemental damage.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
And you mean to tell me a uniform that we gotta pay 30 to 40? I'm gonna keep emphasizing that, because you can't get the uniform without spending money, right? And the people who spend money on the game are the people keeping this game alive. So why would you want to give them less and less and less and ask them to spend the same amount of money for all these seasonal uniforms? It really goes to show me that these guys don't really care about the players, bro. They really don't. They just like care about making money. It looks like to me they made this uniform and they wanted to sell it off sex appeal alone. They're like, ooh, horny teenage boys, let's just give them something to look at, and that's good enough. Testosterone 800, 900. They gonna just look at this, they gonna get rock hard, and that's it. They don't need to see nothing else to spend their money. They're so easy. Guys, you gotta learn to control your libido, okay? Many empires have fallen throughout the ages from men not being able to control their libido, okay? You gotta start thinking logically. The only reason I'm buying this shit is because I'm a content creator and I'm gonna test it and see, because here's the thing. This uniform, after this update,
I will never play with you ever!
More than likely no one gonna use it. The people who are buying this uniform won't be using this for more than a support, and if the support is so mediocre, you can't really justify the cost of this uniform, bro. Like, she doesn't even get freaking accumulation in her kit, bro. Like, yeah, chain hit damage is cool, ignore dodge is cool, 30% extra attack is cool. She's a transcended character, so she's not going to be relevant as a DPS. She's literally being sold to you as a leader, which the leadership is the same that she always had, and a support, which is just mediocre because we have way better supports in the game. It literally don't make sense what they were doing. Again, cool effects. I like the fact that she can now heal herself with a solid buff. 25% is nice. Didn't even give her accumulation, bro. It don't make sense. Again, what are these devs thinking? Am I tripping, bro? Am I off a perk? Me looking at this, am I the one that's high? Am I the one that's complaining over shit that don't make sense? Or is the uniform buff not making sense to you guys as well for the price? Like, that's literally the same skill she had before, they just recolored it. That's really cool. I like that skill. Also like this skill. I like the fact that her flames are now white. You know, some of you guys saying I don't like the idea of a demon becoming an angel, but hey man, her name is Satana and she's supposed to be the female Satan, and if that's the case, Satan started off as an angel based on the Bible, right? So she's basically just becoming what she always was, as an angel, right? So I really do like the skills, but let's be real. You're not gonna be playing high-level content with Satana, bro. Like, you're gonna play with her for like 2 weeks, the next update is gonna drop, and you're just gonna put her in Shadowland as a leader and a support for your fire characters like Ghost Rider. But here's the thing, Ghost Rider already has his team, a team made in hell with all of those Ghost Riders, right? Yeah, Ghost Panther and Robbie Reyes. So you don't really need her to be, just think about it. A character like Rogue, one of the strongest characters in the game, granted she's not a support character. I use Rogue every single day, every day, whether it's for running dimension rifts or for clearing world boss or giant boss, or even if it's a combat day, my Rogue goes in and she gets dumb with it and just clap up that boss. Ask anybody who runs GBR with me. This character, incredible value for the money I spent. Gonna be using her for the foreseeable future, right? So you mean to tell me a character that offers me so much value, I'm paying the same price for her as this character right here? She should have been the one to get the tier 4 so people can use her with her new uniform as much as possible, just like Storm, until her damage falls off, and then you fall back on her support. But even then, her support passive should have been better. I don't understand why this is less than 55%. I don't understand why the tier 2 passive or the 4-star passive don't apply to allies as well. They gotta go back, they gotta buff this. Otherwise, if you can go without that 35% extra elemental damage, if you're like me and don't use Jean Grey for ABX and ABL, because I use Captain Marvel, it's like 2 million points less, you know what I'm saying? At this point, I don't really care. I like to be toxic with Jean Grey, so I'm gonna keep her with my brilliant refinement. So for me, I'm not losing anything by not having Satana's uniform. But again, I want to test it. I like the animations, and I'm a content creator. That's how I justify buying this shit, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, majority of you guys don't need. I think she should have gotten the tier 4 over Angel, and truthfully speaking, he's another character that I gotta shit on, because I don't know what the hell these guys are doing and what they're smoking. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. It's not necessarily how I wanted to do this video. I like to buy these uniforms and review them from a gameplay aspect where you take them into content, see how weak or how strong they are. But I had a bunch of people asking me if I'm gonna buy it, and I wanted to get out ahead of this and let you guys know for the first time ever, I'm not gonna pay full price. You know what I'm saying? Usually I pay full price for these, but this time I'm gonna take that 33% discount by using the 10 free tokens, and I advise you guys to do the same if you're like me and maybe you have FOMO and you don't want to miss out on any of the seasonal uniforms. Get the 33% discount, because she's not worth paying full price. As good as she looks, you know what I'm saying, as good as her skills look, she is not worth paying a full price. Get the 10 free tokens, buy the 20 if you have the money to do so.
You can lose a lot of money chasing women, but you'll never lose women chasing money.
And get what you can out of her. If that's you sitting at your computer with your hand on your leg, hey, do what you gotta do. I ain't gonna judge you, but yeah, I'm judging you. I'm out of this, man. Let me know what your thoughts are. And yeah, in a couple days when I get her, I'll try her in some content and see how good or how bad she is.